everyone, welcome to today's webinar. Thank you for joining us tonight. Before we start, let me introduce myself. I'm Sam from Utah Division of Program Promotion and moderator for today's webinar. Besides Zoom as our main platform, if your friends and family would like to join us together, we are live now at our official Facebook page, Utah for You, so they can join us there. Our topic today is emerging opportunities of digital transformation with ICT. And our speaker today is Dr. Alex Uy from Faculty of Information and Communication Technology. After our topic sharing, we have a Q&A session. Please take note that if you have any question during the webinar, please click on the Q&A button below the screen and type your question there, so we can go through the questions together later. The Q&A button is open throughout the webinar. However, due to limited time, we may only answer some selected questions. All right, let's welcome our speaker of the day, Dr. Alex Uy.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Wunyek. All right, I'm from the Faculty of Information and Communication Technology in University Tunku Abdul Rahman, Perak campus. Yeah. So I would like to take this opportunity to share with you about emerging opportunity of digital transformation with ICT. Now, this talk I actually made it meant for those who are still considering their career path. I hope that you will consider ICT as your choice, as one of the choice. Now, so let's start with what is digital transformation. Now, to many people, digital transformation is about transforming business using digital technologies, and to many people, they think that the transformation is completed once if they have all these physical forms in their organization has been completely transformed into web forms or e-forms. Yeah. But unfortunately, such definitions of digital transformation is a little bit too simple, and it doesn't really show the whole picture. In fact, when we talk about digital transformation, it involves many more aspects. Like, for example, other than just digitizing things, it involves people. It involves the processes, changes of the processes. Now, if you think of about a community, a community with people that actually, they don't accept the use of smartphone. Let's say they reject that, and digital transformation will not happen. Or if you think of a community of people that doesn't insist that transaction has to be done in cash form, and it can only be the transaction can only be carried out in a physical way, for example, physical place, for example, in a market, then again, digital transformations will not happen. Now, I'm actually bringing this up is simply because many people thought that digital transformation is about ICT guy, programming, implementing softwares. But it's actually more than that. Okay, and these transformations is a collective effort from people from all walks of life. Now, by precisely on that, you see that having this ICT opportunity to you in this era, you don't not just write the program. You get to participate. Sorry, you get to participate in the process. Change how things works. If I believe if some of you, if you're old enough to, you have seen changes a lot. Like, for example, I think Grab and Uber came out pretty like maybe a decade ago. Before that, if you happen to know how the public transport we take, you can see that the process actually change. Yeah, and also we need people, not just developing solutions, but also people to advocate and to preach the use of new technology to the people. Yeah, and of course, if you see recent this pandemic COVID-19, you realize that a lot of things were forced to make faster. Okay, the digital transformation is actually to accelerate it. Again, precisely of all this, we need a lot of people to join us in this this ICT domain. Yeah, and many of you, okay, I believe many of you, you have been using social network, social media, sharing your daily life. Sometimes you take nice picture. Some nowadays, even people make video and then share with everybody. Now that whole process, yeah, is actually the very initial stage of digitization of your own personal life. Yeah, when we do this digitizations, all right, the world actually created another realm that you have all these informations inside that. And interestingly, what is the current trend now? Many people thought that no, it's just like that. I'm using my mobile phone. I tweet about my status or my daily emotion. That's it. They thought that this is all about the digital transformation. That's all. But what is the recent trend? Okay, I want to share with you about Internet of Things. Okay, I'm not sure if you heard of it. Now, if you haven't heard of it, it's basically, if you come to think of it, in the early days when the internet were created, were meant for human communication, human to human communication. Now, when we talk about Internet of Things, basically we are trying to give the things that we have surrounding us to have this ability, yeah, to also be connected to the internet. Some of you, like let me give you an example. Like for example, this physical chair, yeah. If we retrofit them with sensors, like for example, weighing sensors inside, we can actually gather some information, some data out of it. Like for example, which particular day or time that people are sitting on it, and how heavy is the person from the person weight. Okay, we can actually tell whether it's an adult or kids. Yeah, of course, this kind of technology to you is like to many people it's like I don't need such a chair at home, and you are right. Okay, now imagine if I put this chair in a restaurant. Let's say you own a restaurant. This chair will be able to provide you insights of your business. Like for example, particularly what time that you have the most people, most populated, and then you can also tell your customer segment, like how many % of them are actually adults or kids, and usually how long they will sit. All these informations, yeah, given to you, as a business owner, you'll be able to make even a better decisions on whether or not to expand your business to the next zone. And we did actually we did pretty similar thing in our university as well. Like for example, we study in a laboratory, in the labs, and then we see what are the favorite place that the student sits. We have with this data, yeah, we can actually identify place, the likelihood of seats that are being occupied, and then we can go and analyze why such places are more people. Yeah. So you can see, and some thought that this is a joke, why do I need a chair with sensors? Now, this is not something really new if you look at it. Now, I got this from one of the research paper, yeah. It's written in year 2016 by a group of Koreans, yeah. So basically, they actually added sensors, as I just mentioned just now, into chairs, and they bring it even further than detecting whether person is sitting there or not. And these Koreans, they actually to use it to actually detect, your sitting posture, and if you read the paper, they actually plan to use this sitting posture to actually identify how engaged are the person actually when they are maybe watching movies or playing game. So because they can actually tell that. Now, with this information, of course, you have to go somewhere. Okay, so all this data are actually going into cloud computing. Yeah, cloud computing. Now, let's talk a little bit on this the changes of all this. Yeah, so you can see the opportunities are there. Why am I sharing this with you? Because there are still many things that are not really connected yet. So I hope you can see the opportunities. It's not like what many people thought that nowadays everything is already digitized, and if you do ICT, the job is very boring. Actually, it's really not. Actually, it's not. There are so much more opportunities, and I'm going to share with you a little bit more on this cloud computing, which is a little bit classical. Yeah, classical. Why? Because the story was like that. And you know, the websites that we access, yeah, require servers, and these servers are physical machines. Now, before year 2000s, around 2006, yeah, if we were to host a server, host a website, yeah, we need to have a physical machines, yeah, physical servers, and we put our things and then get connected. A lot of tedious things to do. Now, around year 2006 and 2007, yeah, there's this one of the company, Amazon to be as specific. They have their own IT infra to actually, you know, they actually scale up. They build lots of put a lot of servers they bought to actually cater for, you know, season purchase, like for example, seasonal purchase, like for example, Christmas, you know, those big events, because they need to handle all the requests. But the thing is, after these festive seasons, right, these machines tends to have not much use. So it's just, you know, left there, and you know, if it's in a whole year, a small part of a few maybe a short period of time is being used. So they are very smart. What they did is they actually turned this into a rental kind of business. You know, they rent out. You know, anyone, if you need computers, you don't have to buy. You know, you can just use a credit card, subscribe to them, and yeah, you can put your application up there. And that is how it all started. Yeah, it's all started. Now, all this cloud computing has been pretty stabilized nowadays, and especially in ICT field. Yeah, we should actually make use to this technology because it can do a lot more things. And you have been using, just that maybe you're not aware. Like for example, Netflix is actually hosted in cloud. Yeah, and a lot of websites that we are using nowadays are all in this cloud. Now, I just want to share with you that things are growing. No, this is a good sign. No, some people, if you are considering this as a career, you know, you want to look for the growing trend. Yeah. So one of the example I want to show you the things that Internet of Things. It is not just a chair. For example, I believe you have heard of Xiaomi. Yeah, it's actually one of the world's largest IoT platform. They actually creates, you know, a lot of these households. Equipments, yeah, they actually put in this connectivity inside. They're actually connected to the internet. You can actually control them using your mobile devices. Yeah, basically, if you want to do a smart home, yeah, you can actually look into their products. It's really interesting, and of course, all this other than just, you know, facilitating your making your life easier, there are also a lot of other usage. The limits is actually your your creativity. If you come to think of it, we are now in an era that we have lots of data, and it really depends on how we make use of this data. And if we go to the cloud computing side, this table which I want to show you, you can see that the revenue is actually growing every year. Yeah, it's actually growing. So this one is also just to, you know, don't take my words for it, that these are growing. So you can look at the numbers. You know, you can actually look at these companies. It's to show you that the technology is growing. Yeah. Okay. Now that is about digitization. Then let's talk about the process. Now digitization is we talk about data. Yeah. And now imagine if you have a form, okay, which is a physical form. Let's say hypothetically you want to apply to join our university. Yeah. Of course, our university process doesn't work like that. Okay, so let's say, for example, you fill in the application form, the physical form, and then you send to the admission, and it will take a few days because you know, it's physicals anyway. Then when you reach, you need someone to actually, you know, check the document, make sure it's complete. Now, if it's not complete, you have to call you up, and then you have to ask you to resubmit again those missing parts. Now, once you've done that, of course, you have to go into sorting, filtering, and then maybe if you are not applying from you know, you're trying your luck to go into 2 different faculties, you know, that particular forms has to be, you know, go to faculty A first and then followed by B, simply because we cannot simply duplicate them. So you can see the whole process actually, because due to its physicals, it takes time, yeah, to process. Now let's say if this form, yeah, is the one that you fill is actually an electronic version. what happened to the form? Now, if you come to think of it, what happened to the form? One of the best, really inspired me a lot is, I think this is a movie. I'm not sure if you guys watch this. I know it is pretty old, but I think it's worth watching. It's The Matrix, released in the year 1999. Actually talk about the world that actually simulated by computers. Now, if you look at this cyber world, if you compare with the physical world, there are certain things that are really, really interesting. Like for example, distance. The distance is completely removed. And basically what we are doing here today really is part of it if you come to think of it. Distance between you and me, no, we could be separated by 100 or 1,000 miles away, but we can still have this webinar, yeah, thanks to the cyber world, yeah. And then of course in this world, we can also duplicate things. Like for example, if I were to give you this set of slides, or I give you a file of song, a music, a movie, you have no problem in duplicating them. And when you can duplicate them, if you duplicate these files, if you can go back to the example I mentioned just now, we don't have to go through the process in stages. Rather, we can duplicate the thing and let the whole thing run in parallel. And as such, we are actually reducing the time. We're reducing the processing time. And of course, another really interesting fact is actually dynamic. This dynamic, I'll explain this dynamic later. Now, for those of you, maybe Matrix is a bit too old for you, I want to share with you another one. I could just replace this guy with Animal Crossing. Yeah, Animal Crossing is a game, yeah, very interesting game. During this lockdown period, it was certainly very, very popular. Why? Because when you're locked down, you don't get to meet up with your friends. So what do we do? Now, if your friend happens to have this game, and you also happen to have this game, what this game does is actually, inside the digital world, they create an avatar of you, okay, and you and your friend inside the world, actually you can meet up inside there, and then you can go picnic, you can go maybe do activities together, but it's in the virtual or cyber world. That is the interesting thing. And if you have some time, you can Google about this one. You can see the recent trend, the story. It is really, really interesting. People, because I cannot meet you physically, we can meet inside this world. Yeah. So things it's getting very interesting. So not as what we thought, just transforming business, but also transforming process, how we actually interact with each other. So I hope you can look at this. And then the next thing I want to show you is dynamic, the change of format. Now, change of format mean people thought that, or am I actually referring to, videos, and then videos you become photos, and then photos you can actually also become text, those are change of format. But what I want to show you recent years, which is very popular, is this. This actually is a painting actually painted by Leonardo da Vinci, yeah, almost 500 years ago, yeah. I don't think anyone knows how Mona Lisa actually looks like in real person, yeah. And when you're looking here, you can see that she is actually animated with some expressions. And this how did the format actually change? How did the dynamic actually works here? Is that because we have artificial intelligence through machine learning, where thousands or 10,000s or millions of photographs and video were actually trained, yeah, by this machine learning. And then from there, they're actually capable of, this is how the machine actually thinks, that if Mona Lisa were animated, this is how she looks like. And this technology is known as deepfakes, yeah, deepfakes. So you can see in this world, which is cyber world, is also very, very dynamic. Yeah. So if you look at all this, I hope you see, it is not just transforming, boring physical forms into digital, that kind of that boring. Actually, this is really, really interesting. A lot of technology is actually moving. Now, we're talking about the moment when we start to digitize our life. About 15 years back, we have started to have data, and this people start to realize that, hey, with this data, if we analyze them, we can actually convert data into informations. And from informations, we can convert them into knowledge. Now, people always say knowledge is power, right? So if we have the knowledge, what can we do? Yeah, what can we do with all this data that we have? Imagine if the business that we are mentioning, the hypothetical business that I mentioned, if you have this chair that are very smart, they can detect, how people see how long they sit, over time, you would able to, you will have data. And then from that, you can turn them into informations. And of course, with those data analytics techniques that we have, you can also achieve something that we call predictive, analysis, so that you can predict like tomorrow, what is the likelihood, the number of people that's going to be in in your restaurant. Imagine if you can do that, you can get yourself well prepared before the event actually happens. Then that is how you can actually maximize your profits. Now, of course, this is only one part of it. What is the ultimate aim? Okay, we want it to be bring even further, right? For example, that we want to after analyzing maybe not one restaurant but multiple restaurants. The system can actually tell us what is the best thing to do next. Or maybe to suggest the soup of the day that actually can maximize your profit. Of course, I simplified the stories. But basically, that's the whole idea. I hope you find it interesting. With this, armed with data analytics, we can actually transform all this data that we have digitized over the years into knowledge that you can take action and make use of it. And to do things a little bit, to bring it a little bit further, we the world are now very popular talking about artificial intelligence. Basically, inside of it, there is a subset called machine learning. So, what is machine learning basically? Basically, machine learning is a program. It's a program that it actually improves itself, automatically through experience. Can you imagine that? Which means we don't really code it, follow a very specific rules, but rather we code it in a way that it through its experience it learns. It learns, and then it tries to improve its decisions or output over time. So this is really interesting. And in fact, in year 2017, there is a really huge breakthrough in this. We talk about machine learning. If you happen to follow the news, if not, then let me introduce you AlphaGo. It's actually an artificial intelligence technique. I think it's brought over by Google. What happened is they train this AlphaGo in playing Go. Go, 围棋. So this AI has got no one actually programmed a single rules on how to play this Go 围棋. Nobody actually never taught. So what happened is this code, this program, this artificial intelligence basically watch people those videos people played earlier, and then from there it learns. It learns its rules, and then after to a certain level, it actually started to play on its own. And then because it's a computer, it can play thousands and millions of games on its own for very continuously. And what happened was in year 2017, they actually compete. They took this program and compete with the world human champion. All right, world human champion. I think that they played 5 sets of game, and I think the AI won 4 sets. AI won 4 sets. You can see these are some headlines. Say former Go champion beaten by DeepMind retires after declaring AI is invincible. So it's beginning. Be really interesting. Of course, depends on you. Some people feel really afraid about it, but if you ask me personally, I feel very excited. You can see how the advancement of our computers learns lots of things in 3,000 years of knowledge in 40 days. So I hope this excites you, that there are lots of things that we can do here. Of course, we are not these machines is not like these programs are not general purpose yet. Yeah, and still, of course, it still needs a lot of work. Of course, if you were to now, I want to implement them to do some other things. Yeah, we will need people. Yeah, we need people to do that. So it is not it's still a lot of room to grow actually. But it is really, really promising if you look at the recent trends. Yeah. So I've shared with you the digitization. I shared with you the process. Now, of course, if you ask me personally, the most difficult part of digital transformation is actually people. Yeah, people. Now, people usually they will break into two groups. When we look into this, there are two groups. One of them will be they are pessimistic. They think that the thing that the things is going to go really bad. All the AI will take over jobs, and they will be jobless. And yeah, if you look at that, this is one group of people. But I won't say that they are wrong. I won't say that they are wrong. It's just that things just happen to be that way. Yeah, really depends on what are your skill sets. Now, if you ask me, digital transformations will eventually need more people. Yeah, eventually need more people. Of course, with people with the right skill sets. Yeah. Again, don't take my words for it. I want to share with you this information where I got from World Economic Forum. Yeah, I want you to look at this one. This is actually some sort of forecast, saying that the job landscape in year 2022. You can see that in year 2022 there will be have 133 millions of emerging roles, which means these are new roles. Yeah, which we might not have this kind of job before that. Now, if you look at the declining part is actually 75 million. So if you by looking at these numbers, you realize that these digital transformations actually produce more opportunity, more working opportunity actually. If you compare to if you were thinking that automation will take over job. On the other hand, I think that all this will give us more opportunity. Now, I just want to share with you the top 10 emerging. If you look at this top 10, 1 to 10, if you look at the first one, it will be data analysts and scientists. Okay, you know what's data analysts, which I mentioned just now. You have data, and then you use analytic tools, to turn them into information, knowledge, and then you make use of the knowledge to, maximize your business profit or maximize the usage of your resources. Yeah, and then of course we have also AI and machine learning specialists. We're going to need more and more of these people. Of course, the third one would not be ICT related, but if you look at the fourth one, again, the first one, the second one, the fourth one, software and application developers and analysts. And then, of course, you look at the sixth one, big data specialists. Now, one of the things I didn't mention just now was the big data. Now, basically, if you imagine, if I have all the, let's say just hypothetically that I have chairs, yeah, around the world are all smart chairs, and then all these chairs data are actually collected. So what you have is lots of data. Imagine if I every single second I am going to have this data of whether a particular chair is seated or not. Then you're going to have lots of data, and this you need a way to manage this data, and this is actually fall in the category number 6, big data specialists. Now, of course, we have 7 digital transformation specialists. Yeah, and yeah, these are IT related. New technology specialists, it could be IT not. Number 10, information technology, very obvious, is IT related. So if you look at that, the coming up trend, all these emerging ones are all ICT related opportunities. Yeah. Now let's look at the skills. Now, when we talk about ICT, it is very important to I mean, many people will thought that programming. The first thing comes into mind, programming. Now, and people thought that we are ICT is immune to this kind of changes. Actually, it's not. ICT will be the one that actually change first. It will change very fast. And in fact, a lot of things that we learned, maybe easily 3 years ago, is going to be obsolete very soon. But the things that you need to know. If you look at this again from World Economic Forum, you look at these are the skill sets that are actually growing. For example, analytical thinking, active learning. If you look at all this list, you realize that okay, programming is one of them, yeah, but it is really not subject based. It's really not subject based. It is not like, you know, things that are um, that what we taught, you know, that we can learn through YouTube. Some people thought that, I can just watch some online video and then I'll learn programming on my own. I don't have to go to university. I don't have to go to this higher learning institution. Actually, it's just not really true. Now, why? Because if you look at all this, yeah, you need a learning environment. You need a learning environment. For example, in a higher learning institution to have this conducive environment where you can learn things like, for example, critical thinking, you know, leadership, social influences. All this you need a platform. Yeah, a platform. That's why things are really getting very different. Why this and not those very specific skills is because we understand that things will change. Things will change very soon. You can see it's going to be very rapid change. So I hope you can see the skills that we need are very relevant to digital transformation. Now, before I want to, and I want to share with you some of this example. Now, transformation is not something new. Yeah, if you come to think of it, if in the maybe 100 years ago we have these people, doing this trishaw, maybe have a kids, yeah, or children, and when this trishaw guy is actually retired, the children, could have moved on to this combustion engine vehicle, fetching people around. So the transformations does not really, affect life that much. But if you compare to this happens, I believe many of you actually experience this, with these two technology clashes, and it actually happens in the same generation. So that's the problem. Now the transformation is getting challenging now, not because they are transformation. Transformation has been there all this while. The one of the things that is happening is because the speed is getting faster and the time is actually shorter. So you from this to this, it's like it happens, within a generation. So if the person that in this generation doesn't want to adopt the technology will be somehow slowly push back. Now, of course, if you think that this one is going to be here forever, okay, it's actually not necessarily, yeah, because you can see a lot of people are now investing, a lot of companies also investing into self-driving cars, yeah. So you can see, I believe you will see self-driving car very soon as well. So that's why you see from the change, the time actually is actually shortened so much, and turn out that if we were to learn driving skill only, then we might also get obsolete. So we have to follow the trend. And what are the skills that we need is the one that I showed you earlier. Of course, I've been talking about good things and bad things. Yeah, some of us, if you follow the digital transformation news, other than losing jobs, you can see that some people actually manipulate the price and maximizing the profits, or turn them into war machines. Yeah. But we are not here to debate about this today. Yeah. But what I want to share with you is that this is the one. It's not about right or wrong, but more of I want to share with you is that the digital transformation is inevitable. It's definitely it will happen. It's just like when there are combustion engine, it doesn't make sense anymore to have the threshold to fetch people around. It's just no longer effective or efficient. Now, I share with you this technology, okay, but of course this is not all of them. There are many more. Yeah, I have not covered things like augmented reality, virtual reality. There are so many much more very interesting stuff. Yeah, so if you again from my favorite movies, yeah, so of course you can just attended this talk, and you can take the blue pill, and then you decided you can go and sleep and forget about it. Or if you want to change, if you want to change the world, be part of it, yeah, you might want to consider ICT as a career. All right, so I'm done. Thank you very much. Sam, I'll pass this back to you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Alex. So currently we have a Q&A section now. So I have some question to Dr. Alex.
Yes, feel free to ask me. Yeah, I'll try my best to answer.
Okay, for the first one, how about Industry 4.0 that will grow the ICT. How many role will be ICT in that?
Okay. But there's one thing I also didn't mention yet. Like the trend of Industrial 4.0 is also is already here. Right? It's already here, and basically the whole idea is to automate the manufacturing process. Now is to make it even more optimized. And if you look at this, yeah, it is also very ICT. Well, you need ICT. But why I didn't put it here partly because um, I cannot say that Industrial 4.0 or digital transformation only relies on ICT. But if you look at the whole spectrum, you need a lot of people. You need people that actually design the sensors. You need people that actually do the embedded systems. The double E guys, the mechanical engineering guy. We need the chemical guy. We need so many people. Yeah, collective effort. But one thing nice about ICT is that we are the one that actually put all these things together. So you get to see the whole systems being built, and then you can see end to end how the thing actually works. So this is one thing nice about it. And when we come to talk about Industrial 4.0, it definitely need a big part of ICT. We are trying to make the machines smarter. Imagine that you can monitor your machine operation, remotely. So which means you don't have to be there. And imagine if your machine is capable of adjusting itself and auto-tuned its performance depending on the resources available. Now just put it a little bit further, like if the machines are capable of ordering the raw material on its own, yeah, all this needs a lot of potentials over there, right? A lot of potential. That again, we need lots of ICT people to really work on all this to make this vision to materialize it, to make it. You realize that there are so many all these interesting applications that are yet to be developed. We are still short of many system engineers, that software developers that actually put all these things together. I would say that coming years, near future is going to be really exciting. And again, I think due to COVID-19, the adoption rate of this digital technology is really fascinating. There's so much adoption. I mean, we don't have that many of webinars before MCO, and now you can see people are starting to get comfortable with it, and you have more and more people willing to join the webinars, and that is really a good sign of transformations. Yeah.
All right, thank you, Dr. Alex. So if let's say currently we know that the technology comes and go very fast. So how do ICT degree can maintain its relevancy?
Okay. This is a very good question. This is a very good question. So, yes, it is indeed true. When technologies comes really fast. If I remember when I studied, the thing was the version 1.4. By the time I graduate, it's like version 2.0. A few years down the road, it's 6, and then it's version 8 and 10. Yeah. So you can see the growth or the changes is actually running exponentially, and things change really fast. And some, I would say not some, there are many being obsoleted and forgotten technology. And this thing actually happens. Now that is why precisely when you come to university to study, we try to learn the skills. Yeah. So in ICT, in our university, we spend lots of time in designing our curriculum to actually instill our students to have the ability to have this lifelong learning skill. That just now we have this World Economic Forum. I show you those are the top skills. We actually have all those in our curriculum, so that you are more well prepared for changes, because we understand that change is inevitable. Yeah. So if you have the ability to adapt to these changes, then yes, we believe that you can go much more further than just studying a particular programming language, and then if the programming language obsoletes, then your skill set also obsoletes. So we don't want that to happen. We don't want that to happen. So what happened? This is why if you look at our content, we actually focus a lot in problem solving skill, your communication skill, your presentation skill, all these which are really essential, regardless you are in which stage of your career in the future.
All right. So currently, due to the MCO, I saw that lots of the company and also the industry are closing down. So does COVID-19 affected ICT jobs for current MCO?
Well, this is also an interesting question. Yeah, whether or not COVID-19 affects ICT jobs, the answer is really depending on which industry you are in. No, you see, ICT is just a tool. Yeah, after you graduate, acquire these tools, usually you can venture into domains. Like for example, if you go into F&B domain, or you go into the real estate domain, finance or fintech domain. It really depends on which domain that you actually uh, venture into, and then over the years you will acquire domain knowledge with ICT knowledge together. That's where actually makes you really expensive. Now the thing is, if you come back to the questions, whether or not COVID will affect your job really depends on which domain you are in. Let's say if you are, but again, really I don't have a universal answer for it. Yeah, you depends on the situation, depends on the industry that you are in. But again, if you have these ICT skills, it would able to transform business to be to the next level. Let's say a very simple example where I think what we have is what during the MCO, people are not encouraged to travel, and those families that those vegetable sellers, if their families have someone that works with uh, how to use social media platform, they start to actually push their market through that, and then doing the delivery. So that is an alternative out of the thing. So that is how to simplify the story. You can see how ICT can actually transform businesses as well. Oh yeah, I see there's a question there. Am I right?
Yes,
Other
yes,
than
yes.
the
Question
two,
from
yeah.
Nathan.
Uh, okay, so you are comparing whether or not is there any particular skill that is more important than the other one? Seriously, again, this one depends on which industry that you want to venture into. Like if you ask me, I think problem solving skill is the most important one if you compare. It's not necessarily uh, a particular programming skill or technique, but rather it's your ability to analyze the problem. And this is precisely very important. That's why it's even though you have two-person have the exact went through the exact training on how to do they know the same programming language, but the way that they solve a problem could be very different. And the underlying that actually makes this different is actually the ability to analyze the problem and solve the problem. And we put a lot of efforts in training our students, particularly doing this. If you look at our content, we actually to the extent we actually went to bring trees. It's an inventive problem solving techniques. Yeah, invented by Russian. Actually now currently used in many MNC. We actually incorporate that, embedded that technique in one of our syllables. So we believe that problem solving is very important. If you acquire this, then you won't have problem if you're doing lifelong learning.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Alex. So now we have no more questions in the Q&A stand. So dear audience, do you have any question would like to ask Dr. Alex? You are welcome to raise your question in the Q&A. Okay, so I think that's all.
All right.
Okay. All right. So thank you, Dr. Alex. So it's for my turn now. Okay. Before we end this webinar, please let me have a short brief about our ICT programs to all of you. Utah Faculty of Information Programs and Communication Technology offered 5 bachelor's degree programs in our main campus at Kampang. These 5 programs are 3 years degree programs for full-time students. Okay, as you can see that we have computer science, business information system engineering, communication networking, and computer engineering. Both are 3 years and only available in Kampang campus. Okay. Second, this is the sky view of our main campus in Kampa. This is a view of our FICT building in our main Kampa at Kampa. Okay. Last but not the least, today's webinar will be recorded and posted at our official Facebook page, Utah for You, and YouTube channel. For further inquiry, you may contact us through email, website, Facebook, WeChat hotlines. Our upcoming webinar will be on 7 Habits of Highly Effective Learner by Mr. Alex Fu Tun Lee. Okay, thank you for joining us today and have a nice day.